Okay, hello and welcome to the workshop on Commonwealth Masters Scholarship. This is the outline for today. I'm quickly going to introduce you to Project EduAccess, and then I will introduce the panelists to you, and then we are going to go over the different parts of the application process, eligibility, the timeline, and many other things. Those of you who are new to Project EduAccess is a non-profit initiative that's aimed at improving inclusivity in higher education, leadership, and professional opportunities by removing some of the cost, informational, and other barriers for marginalized communities in the Global South. We run an active mentorship program for students to help them with university and scholarship applications, and we also engage in a little bit of advocacy. I'm delighted to introduce you to our team members and also panelists for today. Banashri Thapa, who read for an MSc in Biodiversity Conservation and Management at the University of Oxford on a Commonwealth Masters Scholarship in 2020-2021. And Damini Ken, who read for an MPhil in Modern South Asian Studies at the University of Cambridge on a Commonwealth Masters Scholarship 2022-2023. I'm going to hand it over to the panelists to take you through the presentation on Commonwealth Masters Scholarship. Over to you.
Thank you, Samir. Hi, everyone. I'm Banashri. I'm one of your co-hosts for today's session. As Samir mentioned, I was a 2020-2021 Commonwealth Scholar, and my background is in biodiversity conservation. I'm really happy to share what I know about the scholarship with you guys, and I only can hope that this will be helpful in your application process going forward. I would like to run just briefly on the CSC scholarships and awards in general, and then we'll dive deeper into the Commonwealth Masters one in a short while. So Commonwealth Scholarships or CSC scholarships is an umbrella term, and it's used to refer to scholarships offered by the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office by the United Kingdom's government. The scholarships are meant to be provided to individuals from the Commonwealth nations, and they're intended to meet UK's international development goals. Broadly, the aim of the scholarship is to catalyze sustainable development in the Commonwealth nations. And they want to do that by supporting innovators and young leaders who have outstanding merit and capabilities, but they might be hindered due to financial or economic barriers. So right at the top of the bat, you can see that there is a very strong inclination to kind of work or support the 17 SDGs. And as we go forward with the slides and the process, you'll see that that's reflected across the themes and the essays and the questions and the whole selection process. Broadly, all of the scholarships cover a full scholarship. Depending on the scholarship type, however, the extent of the full coverage differs. But broadly, for the Commonwealth Masters, the tuition fees, living allowance, airfare, visa application cost, thesis, including warm travel allowance, all of this is, warm clothing allowance, all of this is kind of covered. Can we move to the next slide, please? Thank you. So there are 5 types of awards, but currently, actually now for India, it's only 4 because they've discontinued the PhD scholarship. The Commonwealth Masters is what's going to be the focus for today, and we'll share more. The Commonwealth Shared Scholarship is another one which is quite, should be relevant to prospective applicants, but it's outside the scope of today's webinar because we're going to be, Project EduAccess would be doing a separate webinar on that. So if you have any questions specific to shared, I would just ask you to wait for the next session. Then there is the Commonwealth Split Site Scholarships. These scholarships are only applicable for enrolled PhD students in India if they want to do part of their scholarship, part of their PhD in the UK. It does help if there's already an established institutional or departmental link between your home university and the proposed university. But even if there isn't and you can show a connection, you would still be eligible to apply. The last one is the Commonwealth Distance Learning Scholarship. It's quite an underrated or lesser known scholarship, but these are for select courses in the UK. So the process is kind of similar. There are a list of courses that is released, and only those courses are eligible for the Commonwealth Distance Learning Scholarship. However, for this, you would have to conduct your education in India, not in the UK. So in this case, for the Commonwealth Distance Learning, they would provide the whole tuition fees, but because you don't go to the UK, you're not going to get the stipend, warm clothing allowance. So that's the kind of catch. Can we move to the next slide, please? Okay. Like I mentioned, today's focus is the Commonwealth Master's Scholarship. It's a fully funded one-year master's scholarship. It's applicable for all courses in any university in the UK, except for MBA courses. The goal is to support talented and motivated candidates who lack the financial means to afford that education in the UK, but are completely kind of eligible and are worthy of that education. Please note that here the ethos of Commonwealth Masters is, say, different from other full scholarships like the Rhodes Scholarship, for instance, where the vision is to support young leaders, versus here the Commonwealth Scholarship acknowledges that there could be economic or financial or social barriers which might have kind of hindered promising students from becoming leaders, but do have the potential to do so. So that's kind of a key difference within this scholarship and the other scholarships, full scholarships that are out there for the UK. The applicants must be an Indian citizen and or have been granted refugee status or be permanently based in any Commonwealth country. And the way the scholarship process works is that they have to, the candidates will have to apply twice. So first on the Commonwealth website, and then the nominating agency, and in our case, it is the India's MHRD portal. Roughly, I think 39 candidates are first nominated in India around December. And the number may slightly vary by 1 or 2, but more or less it's 39. And then the final list goes to, so these 39 candidates are then sent to the CSC selecting body, and then the final award is given to 50% of these candidates in June of next year, so 2024. The Commonwealth scholarships are awarded under 6 development themes, and the themes are quite central to their whole kind of ethos of who they're going to award the scholarship and so on and so forth. So the 5 themes, as you can see from the slide, are science and technology for development, strengthening health systems, promoting gender global prosperity, strengthening global peace, security, governance, strengthening resilience and response to crisis. And then the last one is the access, inclusion, and opportunity. Picking the right theme is quite important. And Gayatri, if you can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. And it can have as much of an influence in making your application as will an SOP or a LOR. And the point of the theme is to kind of tie your interests and your stories together. So a good guiding source for helping you understand what that means and how to kind of select the courses that fit to your theme is to go to the Commonwealth website itself. There's a lot of resources now, and they give a good overview of what each theme encompasses. Since all of these themes are linked to SDGs and CSC's own targets for achieving certain SDGs, it's helpful to read what they consider as important within a particular theme. Another quick trick, I would say, to assess whether your chosen course or your preferred course would fit which theme would be to go to the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship portal, for instance, from last year, and see which courses were kind of under which theme, and that should give you an idea, at least to go on what you should choose. 2 things to keep in mind while selecting themes. Number 1, the development theme that you choose should be aligned to your research interest and the purpose for which you want to pursue the program. And also, the theme should reflect your own previous work and your kind of achievements till date. So, like I said, it should tie the whole thing together of your interest to apply for the Commonwealth Scholarship. The second point is, all the 3 courses that you choose, so I'm not sure, we'll talk about it later, but you have to choose 3 courses you have to submit 3 courses that you're interested in for the Commonwealth Scholarship. And all 3 courses should fit under the same development theme. So for instance, during my application cycle, I had applied to, say, more than 5 courses across universities, but I only picked the 3 that fit into the theme that I had chosen for my Commonwealth Masters. And in that case, I think I had chosen theme 5, which was strengthening resilience. So that's kind of your own internal selection criteria and how you can decide. Can we go to the next slide, please? Thank you. A few eligibility criteria. You must be available to start your academic studies in the UK at the start of September 2024. And also you either should hold a first-class degree or at least an upper second-class honors or a second-class degree to be eligible. You're also, it's okay if you have a relevant postgraduate qualification, but Commonwealth does not fund double masters. So if you have already done or are doing a postgraduate qualification, you should be able to justify very well why you need another master's. And if you do have another, like an ongoing or have completed a postgraduate course, it's fine to include it. I often get asked whether, they should be they should make it visible in their application about the second degree, but it's completely fine. I did it and it's okay. You'd also need full transcripts detailing all of your higher education till date. And for some universities in India right now, getting full transcripts can be difficult. So right at the get-go, so a statement of marks would also do. So that's okay. And you would need 3 references, but at least 2 to at least submit your application. And 3 references, out of the 3 references, 2 would have to be your academic referee, and 1 can be personal and or your current employer. So if you're currently working in a job, you would one of the references should be from your current employer. Can we go to the next slide? Yes. Some of the common questions, what does a first or a upper second class mark mean? So in India, I think the first means, let me check. It means minimum of 60% marks in graduation. So that's the first class. And then the second class degree in Indian context, it means 50 to 59% in graduation. So that's the first and second class mark. Another question is how relevant are marks? According to Commonwealth's guidelines, marks are quite relevant because they do want to support, high achieving students that have done consistently well across their academic kind of journey. However, the reviewers, there's a section in the website where there's feedback or advice for applicants, and you can please go and check later. But what they've said is, while kind of applicants for second class undergraduate degree would kind of be disadvantaged compared to the first class holders, if you can clearly demonstrate why you might have scored less or the hurdles that you might have faced, and you justify it well, it should not be a problem. I've already covered the transcriptive statement, sorry. Yeah, the format of the LORs. This is quite relevant. Earlier when I was applying, your referees would have to upload the reference themselves, but now they've made it easy for applicants. You can you're supposed to apply, add it to your application, what is it called? Anyway, to your application. However, be very mindful because they do prefer the LORs to be in official letterhead. For students who don't know what that means, it's just it's an official kind of document that the college that you're studying in or the university that you're studying in will provide you. So just ask your college and they should be able to provide you with that. However, some colleges or some professors might not have access to the LORs, where they could have been retired, etc. And in that case, make sure that the referee mentions that in his LOR, why he couldn't. And in that case, even a personal email or just a PDF document would suffice. Who should you ask to be your referees? I've already covered that. And what does a personal referee mean? Right. So the personal referee can't be a friend, but it could be someone who has seen your journey quite closely. So in my case, my personal referee was the president of the student union while I was doing my undergrad. So while it's not technically the best personal mentor, he was able to see my growth and I was just able to justify that. So, and like I said, there's a lot of kind of leeway around what a personal mentor means. Just don't choose a friend. Okay, that's kind of a broad overview. I hope I was able to answer most of the questions there. But again, we'll tackle the questions later. I'm gonna give the stage over to Damini, and she'll kind of take over and explain a bit more about the process.
All right, yeah. Thank you so much, Banashri. That was a very comprehensive explanation about the scholarship. I'll now explain the application process, the stages, and the various kinds of essays that we need to write as a part of the application. So the Commonwealth Scholarship primarily has two stages when it comes to applying. And the first one is the round where we have to apply at the online application system. And that link has been open since 5th of September, and applicants can apply till 17th of October. And till very specifically till 9:30 p.m. IST. So please also note the time, because we usually think that it would be till 12 or so. At this stage, we do not require the offer letter, but it's very important when you apply. At this stage, you just like save your PDF, because most of these answers are asked again when you need to upload your offer letter at the MHRD portal. Um, Previously, the MHRD portal used to open after the first round of application, and it was somewhere around the first week of December. But now this time they have made a couple of changes, and which also includes the timeline for the second round of application. And the portal is going to open from 25th of September till 25th of November. And at this stage, you will require one offer letter at least out of the three courses that you have chosen. And along with this, you would require basic documents like your proof of residence. It could be any national ID card or a passport. And for this, it would be good if you could check the link, which is also available. And let me also copy paste the link in the chat. This is the particular link that you need to have a look at for the second round of application, where you will be uploading your offer letter. And during my time when I applied last year, the nomination of award was declared by May. But considering that the process has speeded up at this point, we might have an early nomination of award or somewhere around May or June if it in case is delayed. Could you change the slide, Gayatri? Yeah. Um, for the 2024 intake, the Commonwealth Scholarship Commission has changed several policies, and they have come up with a couple of few more inclusive policies to support candidates from marginalized identities and backgrounds. Um, so the nomination criteria has become like slightly more inclusive now. The first parameter, though, is that applicants need to provide the confirmation of acceptance or their offer letter by 25th of November 2023. And those candidates who are able to provide an offer letter will be then further judged on the following parameters, in which through a system of points, they're going to rank your assessment, rank the assessment of your application. So, candidates who will be choosing to return to India and work for at least 2 years will get 4 points, and those who do not specify this will not be able to get any points for this parameter. For candidates from disadvantaged background, um, they have come up with two sub points, where candidates coming from SC, ST, non-creamy layer OBC PWD and EWS background will be given 4 points. And for the EWS background, the limit, the annual family income should be less than 4.5 lakhs, which is same as the income criteria for the PMUSP Central Sector Scholarship Scheme for college and university students across. Apart from this, uh, candidates coming from female or transgender backgrounds will also receive 2 points. Um, this time they have also provided a ranking for QS university ranking system, where universities which are ranked at the QS between 1 to 10 will be given 4 points. Between 11 to 20, it is 2 points, and between 21 to 50, it will be 1 point. And these rankings will be determined on the basis of the overall ranking of the university as well as the subject ranking as per the latest ranking. That means the ranking that we have come this year. Kathy, could you please share the. Okay. So now we're moving to like some common questions around this particular process. Will I have to have applied to my chosen course for the first application round? No. You should have, ideally, you should have applied to receive an early offer letter, because you need to apply at the MHRD portal. But before 25th of November, but it is not mandatory to submit that offer letter during your first round of application. Um, I have not lived in India for last 2 years. Am I eligible to apply? No, if that is the case, then one is not eligible to apply. And yeah, the third question is a very important one. Universities don't provide offer letters by November. What should I do? In this case, all of us have been at this stage. What worked for me was applying early and also writing to my department at the University of Cambridge to provide me with an early decision. And luckily, they got back to me, and I had the offer letter by the time I had to apply on the portal. Is there a marking system CSE uses to assess each application? Of course, apart from the essays and the academic merit, CSE has now made few amendments in the nomination criteria, which I just mentioned sometime in the previous slide. Now we will proceed towards understanding the kind of essays. So the Commonwealth Scholarship application requires one to write a couple of essays, and all these essays have different word limits, anywhere ranging between 150 words to 500 words, where we need to answer 4 different questions on development impact, and statement on the proposed study or research. Our career goals, including what we're going to do during the period of the scholarship, as well as what we'll be doing 5 years later, and a long-term plan. And lastly, a personal statement and a voluntary and leadership experience, all of which I'll explain in detail over the next few slides. So the development impact is asked in 4 different parts. In the first part, the candidates need to show how their proposed study, which could be research or a plan of study, uh, relates to development issues at the global, national, and local level. And in this part, candidates are expected to connect their chosen CSC theme out of the 6 themes that Banashri mentioned, as well as the wider sector, has to be connected to the development issues that they are going to talk about in their proposed study. In the second part, candidates need to show how they intend to apply the skills they'll be developing during the period of this program and the scholarship, and how they're going to apply them after the scholarship. In the third part of the development impact statement, candidates need to describe in great detail about what they think will change in terms of the development in their home country following the scholarship. And here, candidates can show the outcomes they aim to achieve, or the time frame for the implementation, and who these policies or their work will benefit to. In the fourth part of the application, they need to show how the impact of the work could be best measured and evidence, and it would be a good idea to show a both qualitative and quantitative assessment of how one could measure the impact of the work. Regarding the study outline, um, I just feel that this part of study outline is so very crucial for Commonwealth scholarship because it is one of the major criteria apart from your academic merit and marks, where your application is selected on the basis of either the quality of the research proposal, that's more for PhD scholars or like research degrees like MPhil, or the quality of your study plan for those who are applying for masters. And so study outline can be used as a space to demonstrate your research interest and experience and prior work that you have done maybe in this field. Um, the study outline should highlight the core area of research study that the candidate should will be undertaking in the proposed course funded by the Commonwealth Scholarship, and candidates should ideally demonstrate their research questions if they have any. These could be like very broad research questions and not perfectly something which is a kind of a research proposal for a PhD application, but they might highlight the broad research area and some methods if they have decided upon, and most importantly, the contribution of their research for the respective field and towards their chosen CSE development theme should be emphasized at this in this study outline. The application also asks students to highlight their career goals, and they need to highlight this into three different parts. The first one relates to the career goals that they are expecting during the period of the scholarship, and they need to confirm what their award objectives are and how each one of them will be met by the scholarship program. In the second part, they need to highlight the career plans for the year for 5 years following the scholarship, which could be seen as like midterm career goals. And lastly, they need to show a linkage between their career goals during the period of the fellowship of the scholarship, after 5 years after the scholarship, as well as with their long-term plans in terms of what they want to do. And all of this should be ideally linked with the CSE development theme itself. Lastly, we have like comparatively bigger essay questions, which talks about the personal statement and voluntary experience, where we can also highlight our leadership experience. In this statement, particularly, candidates need to show how their personal background has encouraged them to want to make an impact in their home country, and they should ideally highlight the areas where they have already made significant contributions and how this is also maybe related to their personal background. Um, this includes, but is not limited to, overcoming personal or community barriers in accessing higher education within the particular field that they are thinking to study using the scholarship. Candidates should also summarize their work experience, and um, the work experience in the Commonwealth Scholarship application also includes voluntary activities. So one should definitely highlight any voluntary activity as well. And candidates should demonstrate the opportunities that um, they have for demonstrating leadership in the respective field. So, yeah, thank you so very much, and we look forward to some of the questions by you all. Thank you.
Well, there are a lot of questions in chat already, and great. And there are people who are raising their hands. So you have two ways in which you can ask questions. You can either put them in chat and we will read them out, or you can raise your hand and we will ask you to unmute and ask your question. We can go with the raised hands first, and perhaps Mahashweta, I hope I'm not butchering that name, can go first.
Yes. There are a few questions that I have. First of all, while I was filling up the application form through the portal, CSC portal, so they are asking about about employment type. So I have just completed my undergraduate and I'm not employed as such. So what should be there? Should I just put any or something there, or does it affect the application itself also? That is something that I was thinking.
Shall I read this one?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. And please feel free to put NA if you don't have an employee, a place of work or an professional experience. Like I previously mentioned, they want to be supportive of people who either had a challenge or didn't have the capacity to, pursue a professional career or just have been just in an academic journey. So there's no penalty for not having one. If you do, you should share it. For instance, in that category, I didn't have a proper employment, but I did an internship with WWF for 2 months. I just added that. So it depends on what you think qualifies as a professional experience.
Okay, all right, that was super helpful. And also, I was finalizing my SOP, and about the themes that are mentioned there. So should we also link up one of the theme that we think goes according to our course? Should we link it up in our SOP as well? Is that helpful too, apart from the development impact?
Yeah, I think that will be a great idea to make it a more holistic application. If you could link your SOP along with other essays to the development team.
Okay, thank you so much. And references, 3 references, is it that a must or can 2 work? This is my last question.
No worries. 2 is a minimum, and 3 is, I think you're ultimately supposed to put 3 anyway, but you can submit your applications with just 2, and I think you'll have time to upload the 3rd one as well. At least that's how it was for me. Damini, you're the recent scholar, so if anything's changed in that regard.
Yeah, we do have time for that. Yeah.
Okay,
Excellent.
thank you so much.
Thank you much, Shweta. And could I request participants to ask all their questions at once? And there's also no need to ask if you're audible. If you're not audible, we'll mention that just to ensure that we are able to, use as much time as possible to answer questions. So let's go with Gargi. Gargi.
Hello, thank you, Banashri and Damini, for the session. I have 2 questions. Firstly, if I choose, is the scholarship eligible for a MA by research course or a MPhil course? That's my first question. And secondly, when it comes to the question on career goals, there's this particular question which refers to a short term, mid term, and long term, which I am struggling with right now. How do we approach that question? And is there a pattern which we should follow when writing that, these number of years, or what tips will you give to approach that questions? Thank you.
So Commonwealth Masters will only fund you for 1 year. So if your Masters by research is for 1 year, great, you can apply. MPhil, you won't be eligible, I think. Right?
So I'm an MPhil research scholar and Commonwealth scholarship. My MPhil was 1 year, so I could apply. So if your MPhil is for 1 year, you can apply because they consider an MPhil as a master's, so that works.
And to your second question, you're talking about the career goals, right? Sorry, I
Yes. The one which asks us to trace out how we are seeing our career post the scholarship. Yeah.
You have to think of it as a mental exercise. So just imagine what you would like your life to look like academically or professionally in the next first 2 years after you finish, then 5 years, and then long term where you want to see yourself. That's literally what they want to know, and write it. Don't be hesitant in sharing ideas just because you think that it might not pan out or nothing. They don't care about that. They want to see what your plans are. That's all. And if you can demonstrate that very well, and you can show that you have actual plans, and very kind of great ways to kind of metrics to reach to your goal, that's even better. So they want to see that.
Excellent. There are quite a few questions related to whether the scholarship is tenable for this course or that course. And I'm not going to take those questions anymore because it's already been answered. If the course is for a year, then yes. If it is for more than a year, then it won't be tenable for it. And when you're talking about courses, remember that the nomenclature can be misleading. The MPhils, for example, at Cambridge are generally 1-year courses. So don't go by the title of the degree. Go look at what the duration of the degree is. Your MPhil can be 1 year, but it can also be some MPhils, for example, at Oxford are 2 years, even though there are MPhils at Oxford that are 1 year, for example, the law MPhil. So please keep that in mind while you're looking at whether this scholarship is tenable for a particular course you're interested in. Great. Vivek.
Hello.
Yes.
My question is, I hold an offer from London School of Economics for the year 2023. But due to some medical emergencies at home, I had to defer, and they accepted my deferral request. So my question is like, can I use the references I used, LORs I used for while applying to secure my admission for application for applying this scholarship?
You can use the deferred offer, and you must. So that's fine. With the LORs, if there is a timestamp when your professor has signed it, it would be, unless it was done in this year, it would be advisable to just make them updated. That's what I did, I think. Yeah, I made my professors just change the date.
So both the offers are in the year of signed in the year 2023 itself. January onwards.
The offer letter, if it's deferred and you have proof of that, just upload that. But for the LORs, I think you would have.
Yeah, sorry. I mean to say LOR. Sorry.
Yeah. So the timestamp is relevant, I think, in this case. So you would make a judgment call on whether it would fall within this kind of application cycle.
So, and the last question, sorry. Do I need to write LOR specifically to secure admission, secure scholarship, or the LOR which I used, that is enough? Like, do I need to change anything in that? Do we require to change anything in that? The content wise, I'm asking.
Do you mean SOP or LOR?
LOR.
So the LORs your professors are supposed to write. In India, sometimes the professor might ask you to help her draft it. That's a different case. But you can use the same LOR that you have used last year. It doesn't have to change if your situation or your academic and or professional situations have not changed.
Perfect. Thank you.
Wonderful. Muhammad Arif.
I just have two questions. First is that I have about 8 years of work experience. So my undergraduation was about 9-10 years ago. So when it comes to LORs, am I required to mandatorily submit one academic referral, or can I submit both of them from my current employer or the people I work with? And my second question is there an upper age limit to the Commonwealth scholarships? And practically, I'm asking practically, not just what's there in the guidelines.
Yeah. So I think that it really depends on the course that you're applying. If it is an academic degree, then it will be a good idea to have one academic LOR and one professional. And I don't think so. The age criteria, even like in terms of unsaid rules, the age is a matter of concern when it comes to the Commonwealth scholarships. So yeah, please do not worry about that.
Excellent. I hope that answers Ayman Fatma.
Hello. Yeah, hi, good evening. First of all, thank you so much, Banashri and Damni and Sami too for the knowledgeable session. I just want to ask one thing here. If I will be applying for my master's scholarship, then will I be eligible to apply for the shared scholarship as well? Just for the safer side.
Yes, you can have as many applications.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Love such questions that have one word answers. Wonderful. Saberi.
Hi. So there's a question on the form, which is confirm what your award objectives are and how each of them will be met by the scholarship program. Could you sort of explain what this means?
Sorry, I couldn't follow you. Could you please repeat the question?
Yeah. So there's a question on the form which says confirm what your award objectives are
Hmm.
and how each of them will be met by the scholarship program.
Yeah.
So can you explain what this means?
Right. So I think in this section, you just need to explain to them the things that you're looking forward as a part of your Commonwealth scholarship, things, the skills that you're looking forward to, and how the scholarship will help you in developing certain skills or, getting like certain exposure to certain form of research or academics in general. It's just literally why you want to get this scholarship. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. Next is Sanjeev.
Hi, Shamit. I just have one query that while adding application to Ministry of HRD portal, then we need to submit the offer letter of the university offer letter. And what should we do if we don't have offer letter till 25th November?
So as Damini mentioned previously, for the first Commonwealth website application, you don't need to have offer letters. You just need to submit the 3 proposed courses that you want to apply to. Be very careful in choosing which ones you give 1, 2, and 3, because if you do end up getting the Commonwealth scholarship, you will have to stick with the one that the number 1 course you've provided. But you will need an offer letter for the India portal. The deadline, I think, what Damini mentioned was somewhere in November.
Yeah.
25th November.
Yeah. So one way, so universities like Oxford, Cambridge, they have staggered application outcome process. But for universities like UCL, Sussex, and other universities, they have rolling admissions. So as soon as the application cycle opens, I saw that there were a lot of questions on that. Just want to clarify all of that in this question. You immediately, when the portal opens for application, I would recommend that you apply to those courses and email them after you're done with your application submission that you are kind of applying for Commonwealth and you would like a faster outcome. In any case, UCL and the likes, they have quite a faster turnaround period anyway, but if you don't get it by the time the MHRD portal closes, do reach out to the department or the course coordinator, and that should help you.
Okay,
I
yeah.
just wanted
Thanks.
to add a small point to that. So on the website where you apply it, even at Oxford and Cambridge, the courses will have, a proposed period by which they will be getting back to you. For some, it is as less as 8 weeks. So maybe you can have a look at those kind of courses. For example, MPhil in public policy at Cambridge has just time period of 8 weeks for them to get back to you. So as soon as you apply, you can write them an email about it and ask them for an early decision as well.
Okay. Thanks, Davini.
Great. Can we have Ariba now, please?
Hi, I'm so sorry. This is a course related question. So you mentioned that we cannot apply if it's an MBA related course. So does this can I apply for Commonwealth if I'm applying for courses such as Masters in Management and Mass Comm if they are just for 12 months, like 1 year? If I'm 100% able to justify why I need the course.
Exactly, yeah. If you do that, you're fine. But you need to share how this would impact India's development issues and targets, etc.
All right, all right. Thank you so much.
Great. Safa.
Hi, thank you for conducting this session. I just wanted to ask about the essays. Like, are they there on the portal and we have to type in, or we have to upload the PDFs? Plus, for the personal statement, should it be completely scholarship specific, or we can include like why I chose this course or this university and what would that impact on my, profile?
Damini, you want to take it?
You can go ahead.
I completely forgot your first question. Oh right, the PDF or the form. You're supposed to upload it directly onto the field that you have. You can edit it on the side and then ultimately upload it when you're done kind of preparing your application. For the personal statement, it's basically a blank canvas for you to show why you're a potentially, a promising candidate. And that can either, revolve around your personal life, your growth, your own journey, or it can be a mix of both. And you can tie in the development themes, how throughout your academic or professional journey, you've kind of kept those development themes as a core part of your work ethic and or academic ethic. However, you're not, if you don't mention it, it's not an issue if you've already tackled it in the previous essays.
Okay, thank you so much.
Wonderful. Lakshay.
Hi. So just a quick question. I wanted to ask that I already hold a deferred unconditional offer on mail, but I do not have an official CAS form. So would I require that form mandatorily, or that email would suffice?
Can you ask the question again, please?
Yeah.
They've already.
Yeah. So
go on, Lakshay.
yeah. So I'm saying that I already hold an unconditional offer, which I have deferred for next year. But that confirmation I have only on my mail. I do not have an official CAS form, like the visa application form or the confirmation form which they provide. So that form I will only be able to get if I pay that pay the advance amount or admission amount to the university. So I do not have that form right now. So while applying for the university, will I need that official mandatory form, or will that email or some evidence of that sort would suffice?
That's a good question. If you don't want to pay for the fees, don't do it. I would recommend just printing the email, the whole of the email, so that they can clearly see that it comes from a legit source or so from the department. If you want, you can merge that with a Word document and you can share kind of the background. You can easily say things like, oh, I didn't want to pay this much money, financial issues, blah, 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 but this is an official letter. I'm happy to kind of support more evidence if needed, and then attach that email thread. I think that's what I would do. Damini.
Perfect.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
And thank you. That helps.
CAS is only applicable for visa applications. It has got nothing to do with your offer. Your offer is what you receive via email. So that should, at least in my opinion, be fine.
Okay, so that is not relevant while applying for scholarships.
No, that's for your visa. You get a CAS number from your university after an unconditional offer. So your unconditional offer is stage X. Your CAS number is stage X+1. So that's only applicable for visa applications and not for your scholarship or anything else. So don't worry if you don't have that CAS number. Great. Can we move to Atalia?
Yes. Hi. So my question is with regard to the course and college application. The thing is, for example, if I take a course, if I apply for SWAS and there is a course Law and Gender, LLM in Law and Gender, that is something Master Scholarship covers. But later on, if I see the shared scholarship, there is one particular course that is also covered under SWAS. So when I'm applying for SWAS, should I apply for both the courses at one time only, or should I can apply it later also for the shared scholarship? If I am.
You can apply it later. If I got you correctly, you want to know if for the shared you need an offer letter as well. You don't. When you apply, also for shared, you only apply once. You don't have to apply twice. So when you do, you just you submit, you share what courses you have chosen. You're not obliged to share an offer letter at that stage, and you can submit it once you've been selected.
I have a follow-up question to this, right? So when I apply to SWAS, so should I apply for both the courses, basically the one that is eligible under masters and the one that is eligible under the shared scholarship also, or I should just apply for the Commonwealth Master's Scholarship, that course? So can I apply for both the courses together to the SWAS? That is my question.
Yeah. You can apply for both. Also, I don't think the shared course list for this year has been out yet. So you don't know, even if that course was eligible for last year, if there's no guarantee that they would still be eligible for this year. So, you would have to wait for the list to come out.
Okay, thank you.
The shared one, yeah.
Absolutely. So clarification for everybody, if you're thinking of applying for the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, you will have to wait for the course list to come out. Only after that will you be able to apply. Last year's list may change, and then the list does change from year to year. So don't go by what was there in the list last year. That's for Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. For Masters, you apply more generally. Wonderful. Seher.
I have two questions. The first one is related to the course priorities. If I have understood it correctly, we do have to mention three course priorities. I wanted to know if applying to different courses within the same university would work, or applying to the same course in three different universities would work. That's one question. Another one is, if let's say I get an offer letter by 25th of November from X university, can I later on change to another university, assuming that I would have gotten acceptance from other universities at all? So is the change in what I tell them as to what university will I go something that I can do at a later stage?
Yeah, I think I would like to begin by answering to your second question. So, you need to mention the priority numbers. Like if you're choosing one particular university as your first priority, then you will be, even if you're getting the offer letter later after applying, you cannot change it, to your second priority. So like you might have an offer letter which you're uploading at the MHRD portal by, let's say, 25th of November. But if that is your second priority, you can still go ahead with your first priority, for which you might get the offer letter later.
Okay, got you. Thank you so much.
Great. Anand.
Thank you so much. I have one master's in political science from DU, and if you want to pursue MPhil, then would it be considered as a second master's, or it would be MPhil only? Because as per the Commonwealth rule, if you are going for the second master, maybe they would hinder thing. So I'm asking.
Anand, you can apply, because the second master's, I think, is in the context of the UK. We can apply, and I have also followed the same trajectory before going for the MPhil, which is my second master's at the MA in political science, So yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay, thanks, Damni.
Great. Aratrika.
Hi, Damni and Banashri. Thank you for all the help. I had two questions. First one being, in the government portal, it has been mentioned that we need to hold a degree by September 2023. So is that a typing mistake because I'm assuming so? Or is that the case because I'm in the final year of my undergrad, so I only complete my degree in 2024? And my second question, it might sound a bit baseless, but as far as national identity proofs are concerned, what documents fall under that category? If you could just highlight that, because I'm asking this because my passport is not yet ready, and generally we take the voter ID as the national proof, and that has been delayed also for my case. So, what are the other supporting documents for national ID that I could upload? Thank you so much.
Should I answer, or Bana, are you going?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So regarding the degree, you need to have your results, and the completion of the degree should take place before you apply. That means you apply next year then. Yeah. Am I wrong, Panashri?
I kind of missed the question.
The question is that the India portal, the ministry portal mentions that you should have your degree by September 2023. And the applicant is graduating next year in 2024 because they're in the final year of their degree at the moment.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And regarding the identity proof, you can use a voter identity card as well, or Aadhaar card, if you don't have your passport as of now.
Thank you so much. So just to clarify, so for my case, I need to apply next year because I have not yet received my degree.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. Rija.
Yeah, hi. My question is that I'm a PhD applicant in the UK. At the same time, I'm also applying for MPhil at Cambridge. So I wanted to know, I got to know from the current MPhil or PhD candidates there that it takes around 3 months to get to hear back from Cambridge regarding the decision. So even if I'm submitting my application in October, I won't be able to get hear back from them by November. But as you said, if I can write to them, but still I'm not sure, and I just have one application to be filled for the Commonwealth. So what should I do in that case?
So, did you get the question? Sorry,
Yes,
Liza.
the question is that they're planning to apply for an MPhil at Cambridge, and MPhil, it might take around 3 months. That's what they've heard from current MPhil and BPhil students. And what do they do?
I think it's a loophole. You could try emailing the department and urge them to give you a faster response. I think in this case, that's the best you can do. If you are financially inhibited from pursuing without the scholarship, then one other way, which is not the ideal way, would be you get the offer, get it deferred, and then you apply next year. I mean, it's not a great solution, but then also look out for other scholarships. So it might be eligible for shared or something, and or cheapening. So you might as well try for others.
So you mean it's mandatory to have an offer letter in November, December?
Yeah, by the November deadline, yes, MHRD wants it. Also, no, actually, there's another loophole. You're supposed to give 3 courses. So apply even if your choice is MPhil Cambridge, put that in number 1. Apply to a course in UCL that will give you a faster offer letter, and just put that as the evidence. You don't have to do that course.
All right.
That's what I did. I put a Manchester Uni offer letter, and I wasn't planning to go there.
But I can't put my PhD offer letters, right? Because it doesn't support PhD.
Yeah.
Commonwealth.
PhD.
All right. Thank you.
And only if it's 1 year.
Yeah, I got that.
Zainab.
Hello. So I just graduated with my undergraduate degree in April. My family suggested that I enroll in a distance learning course because they didn't want my year to go to waste. So I am in Mumbai University's IDLE program. However, it's not the course that I want to be in. It's just something I'm doing because my family prefers it. Will being enrolled in this course hinder my Commonwealth application?
Is it a 2-year program or a 1-year program?
It's a 2-year program, but I'm willing to leave it in the middle.
Yeah, this is tricky because either you don't disclose that you're doing a master's, or you just say that it's tricky because you would have to justify. If you disclose, then you'd have to justify, I think, why you've chosen to kind of give up the course. You could easily say that, if the course is a slight deviation from what you're currently doing, you can say that, you're more interested in exploring X, Y, and Z, and this is why you've decided to choose this, and you've already gotten enough information or like learning kind of opportunities from this course in the 1 year. Like, I would spin it like that.
All right. Understood. Thank you so much.
Great. Shahnur.
Hi. Thank you so much for the session, firstly. So I have 2 questions over here. A is in one of the slides you had mentioned that there are points if your college or your university is ranking between 1 to 10, you have 4 points, and then 2 and then 1. So I recently completed my undergrad from NIFT, and so basically I'm looking for a master's also in a similar fashion line. I want to know, so NIFT in India as a fashion college ranks 1, but we have multiple universities, like multiple campuses. So how would that ranking go?
Actually, when we talk about this QS ranking, we're talking about the university that you're applying for, not the
Okay.
university that you studied from.
All right. Second question is it's a little category related question. It's if like both of your parents are in a central government job, so how does it affect in the scholarship or something?
Um, if you're talking about the nomination criteria and if you fall under the
Yes.
categories that they're giving points to,
Yes.
then, yeah, there is no harm, and I don't think so. The job of your parents will determine that much.
So they don't put an offer, they don't put a limit on the higher income, but you'll get preferred, or a student who's more economically, had hardships would be preferred if you guys have the same merit. So same merit, and then, more economically challenged, probably that student will get preferred. That's all.
Right.
It
For
should
the
not.
for the EWS, it is they have the 4.5 lakh and below criteria. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Nabila.
Yeah, thank you so much for this wonderful session. I have this question that what counts as a good academic background, like apart from good grades? So, like, I did my graduation 4 years back. I can't go back in time, and it is 7.32 out of 9, which I understand is an average score considering so many brilliant people are applying. So, and most of my writings are in newspapers or portals which don't have DOIs also. So I want to understand how can I build something which looks like that I have some academic background which I'm not able to understand.
No. Can I ask you to repeat your question? Unless, Damini, you've heard it and you want to take it.
Yeah, I can go ahead with that. So I think when it comes to your scores, you have like first class marks, and that will be very helpful. In your Commonwealth scholarship application, you will also have this space where you can hyperlink your articles that you're talking about, which have been published, irrespective of any particular portal where you have published, even if it is not that popular or not, even if it is not that popular. And you can when you're trying to build an academic profile also, you can talk about the papers that you might have presented during your course, or the particular courses that you've taken and how they have shaped your interest and experience. So yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Wonderful. Sarang.
Thank you, Samir. Actually, I have completed my master and right now I'm doing job. So my question is that a letter of recommendation is needed from my institute only, or can I give from my workplace also?
Sorry, Damini, I was responding to a
Yeah,
message.
no worries at all. You can give it from your workplace as well. That will be a professional work, so LOR, but to try to give an academic LOR as well.
Okay, thank you.
Tanya.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Hi,
Hi.
this is Tanya. I just wanted to ask a question. So basically, I'm graduating in 2024. So can I apply in Commonwealth Scholarship in 2023? And
Yes.
also, one more question I have. So the letter of recommendation that I will get in this year, will that work for the next year also?
No, again, it would be a better idea to, get the letter of recommendation during the year when you're applying, when you're eligible to apply.
No, but she's graduating. Can you share what month you're graduating in 2024?
It's basically March.
That's fine. You can apply for this year. By the time September 2024 next year, you already have been graduated.
But we answered a question.
Yeah. Oh, we need our results, right? We need to complete the degree before we apply at the MHRD portal.
No, she doesn't.
Like the portal mentions that we need to complete the degree.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. Sorry.
That was the response we gave to one of the applicants before.
About the recommendation letter, like, do I have to take it for from my professors for next year or this year also? I can take, and that will work for Commonwealth Scholarship.
While Banashri and Damni are trying to confirm this on the India portal, if at all they are, it's always Tanya, it's always best if you get a recent letter of recommendation. It should not be something that you get and then you use it later. Try and always get a recommendation letter from your professors or from your referees at the time when you are applying, because that it will be contemporaneous. And as Bana earlier mentioned, the timestamp on the letter of recommendation, if it's quite old, then it will not really be ideal for you.
So because the deadline for November 2023, anytime from January is fine of this year.
One more question I have. So like in the 2023, I have done some internship where I got the recommendation letter. So that will not, I cannot use in the next year, or
Could you email the concerned supervisor if they would be happy to give you a new one, because that would help you. If you're kind of hard pressed and you really don't have anything else, then yeah, for the third one, feel free to. It's not that far ahead, so it's not shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Regarding the degree, you have posted something on the chat. So this is exactly the paragraph that I took from the latest PDF available on the Commonwealth. So actually at the MHRD website. And it says that by September 2023, you need to hold a first degree of at least upper second class, minimum, more than 60 marks. So that's my understanding of this.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. There are some four-legged participants as well. And just a quick comment, if the recommendation, sorry, the recommendation letters that you get from your internships are generally very generic. They just, are like, oh, this person did really good job, they were really nice, blah, 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 and we recommend them for whatever they are doing. My advice, unsolicited as it is, would always be to get a specific reference letter. If you're applying for a particular course, get a recommendation letter for that course. So all these LORs, I know, quite often this unpaid work is incentivized by an LOR at the end of it, and it is just to exploit students in the name of an LOR, and that LOR doesn't really count for anything because you always need specific letters of recommendation. As Bana said, if you're able to go back to the supervisor or to the internship supervisor, etc., and ask them to write a specific one at the time you're applying, that is what would be helpful, as opposed to a generic LOR that they have given at the end of the internship. Yes.
Before we go on, just wanted to comment on the September deadline, the graduation thing. My understanding and interpretation is that you need to have had a graduation degree. Like the bachelor should have been completed by 2023 September. If you're currently doing a master's and it will finish by next year, I would say it's not a problem. But what I'll do is I'll attach the email ID and phone number of the MHRD help desk, so to say, and they should be able to provide more information on this. Also, feel free to also reach out to the CSC communications team or something if they have a email ID provided. But that should be my guess.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
A plain and simple reading suggests that you need at least your undergraduate degree by September 2023. So if you're in the final year of your undergrad, then unfortunately you're not eligible to apply this year. With that, let's move to Tamanna.
Yeah, hi Damni, and thank you for this session, Banashri Damni. I wanted to ask for working professionals, does the scholarship look at an individual's, like, for example, would they just consider my salary, or do they look at a person's household income?
In this
That's my
case,
first question.
individual, it should cover, because there's a section, if I'm not wrong, in the application where you share how much you earn as well in your job. Or maybe I'm hallucinating. It's been a while for me.
Okay.
Damini, do you remember if you have to share like how much you're earning from the internship and or job?
No, I don't recall any of this filling during my time. Maybe things have changed since the last year. So yeah, it could be a possibility though.
All right. Okay. That works. And my second question is, so currently I'm working at a public policy firm and I've done a lot of reports and publications for that firm, and a lot of them are actually ghost written reports, so a lot of ghost writing. How do you recommend I sort of put that in my resume or in my application as something that I have worked on, but I don't really necessarily have my name on those reports?
So yeah, so like there are two ways in which you can go about it. In the section where you need to provide links to your publications, you should ideally not put these because you don't have authorship, but you can of course mention this in your statements and essays that you have worked on certain common projects and that has led to certain publications from the organization, and you can talk about it there, but not in the publications that you have authored.
Okay.
Tamanna, on to your first question, even if you're earning decently now and you think that's going to impact your application, if your economic kind of your parental background or your economic background growing up was basically if you can justify that you still have to support, if you're supporting your parents, etc., then that would easily get you selected in that
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, it was more like, what if somebody like wants to be self-sufficient? They don't want to take their parents' help for, financing their education. In that case, I would solely rely on just disclosing my personal income and not my household income. Does that make sense? Like, would that be an option?
I think they ask you to share your family income, but then again,
Okay.
I just want to add to that. So, like, if you're talking about the EWS, then it is the annual family income,
Okay.
and not.
Okay. All right. Got it. Thank you.
Great. Ariba.
My question is about if I I have applied for the swimming scholarship. Can I apply for Commonwealth scholarship, or it might create a problem for me?
You can apply it both.
Thank you. Or I have to apply for a university first or for a scholarship first, or both consecutively.
The question is, do they have to apply to the scholarship first or the university first or both of them at the same time?
Ideally, if you apply to the university as soon as possible, there are higher chances that you'll be getting the offer letter soon, and then you can also write an email. So that will be a good idea when it comes to the MHRD portal. But you necessarily do not have to submit the offer letter in the first stage of application.
Thank you.
Great. Pallavi.
Hello, sir. I wanted to ask that I have recently completed my master's in social work. So, whether I should go for double masters in this Commonwealth, or should I apply for MPhil? Like, I'm confused totally. So,
it depends on your research agenda for pursuing a master's abroad. If that's being satisfied by an MPhil, feel free to put an MPhil as your first priority. If you think that you need another master's to kind of get that skill that you need to do the work on, or kind of contribute to your country, then an double MSc is also fine. I had a double MSc, like my second.
okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Ojasva.
Hi. So first of all, I would like to thank both of you to take out your time to, explain all of these basic things to us, especially Samir sir and Gayatri ma'am. If you recall, sir, I was actually a first year student when you were in class, when you were in the fifth year of GNLU, I believe. I'm sorry, the fourth year of GNLU. So now getting to the question, I just wanted to understand what's the entire purpose of this personal referee. I mean to say that they already have a column for professional referee. They already have a column for academic referee. Then what's entirely the purpose of personal referee, and what do you exactly mean, Ms. Thapa, by the fact that the person has to have seen your personal journey? Because if that's the criteria, wouldn't the family members be uniquely qualified to give this reference? Perhaps
No.
that's the okay. So who
Yes,
would
sir.
perhaps? Yeah. So I'm done with the question.
Right. So it can't be your family or friends, or cousins, or etc., etc. It needs to be someone. It can be your supervisor, it can be your teacher, it can be your employer. But the idea is for them to share your personal qualities that deems you as a potential individual, or a very motivated individual who might have an impact, or might have a positive impact on the particular challenge that you're working on. So if he sees are there qualities? Are you diligent in your work? Are you have you done a lot of extra social service work? Have you done volunteering, etc.? Like, it can be anything that kind of shows how dedicated you are to this research theme and the project that you are applying for. So it can speak to all of that, but also your personal traits or soft skills that you've developed over the years that he thinks that will be relevant for your journey.
It can be a client. It can even be a client of perhaps if I've worked with a law chamber previously, and it can very well be a client or an institutional, or perhaps an individual who was heading an institution. That can also be the deal. But one thing I just wanted to ask is, if the person is involved in the government or was a part of the government, would that be a bit more beneficial, considering that there is a whole lot of public law aspect to this Commonwealth scholarship?
No, even though MHRD is the one, I mean, they should not do it. There's no preference given to whether the personal LOR is coming from a state employee or someone else. Like, mine was a student union president. So it depends on how well they can share about who you are as a person.
Rather than how big is the name, that's the point, right?
Yeah.
Second question would be, if you are applying under the SC/ST category, would we be required to submit our certificates in the very first round?
That I don't know, Damini.
Not in the first round, but maybe in the MHRD portal, because the first round is like an online application system where you're supplying actually to the CSC Commission in the UK. And the screening process is being undertaken by the MHRD later in the second round.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Very nice to hear from you. Let's move to Dishari.
Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you for holding this session. It has been an incredible help. I have two questions for you today. Actually, this year I graduated in the month of April from Madras Christian College with a BSc degree in mathematics. And I also applied to a few universities in UK, and but they were all universities in the QS ranking from 50 to 100. And I got unconditional offer letters from Bristol Uni and certain others. So, but I was not able to go this time because of financial issues and other things. So I wanted to ask you, just now I got to know that there are points involved with the universities where I'd be applying to. So do you think it's possible to get into one of the top universities, such as top of the mind, what comes to my mind is Cambridge or Oxford with a 75 percentage marks? And the second question would be, as you said, that sometimes professors here ask for the draft for LOR. So for that, what would you suggest the best way would be for drafting the LOR? Because sometimes I personally experienced cases where I had to draft the LOR. So that's why, that's it.
Okay. The first question was right, if you should apply to Cambridge, Oxford. I would recommend that you just stick with Bristol. If you want to, take your chances higher in terms of the scoring, I would say apply to UCL maybe, because I think it's ranked number 8. So, and they have a faster turnaround period. So you can just apply to one of the UCL courses. But you're already in a better position than most applicants because you have an offer letter. So just stick with that and then try to focus on your Commonwealth application. Bristol is not at the top of the ladder anyway. So sorry, at the bottom rung of the ladder anyway. So it shouldn't be a problem. But yeah, you could do UCL or something, LSC, if you really wanted to.
Can I'll interrupt you once. I did have the offer, the unconditional offer, but what happened is that they were asking for a deposit amount, and I did not want to pay the deposit amount right now for deferring the course. So right now I am not holding any offer. So I'll be applying again. So that's the situation.
That's tricky, because then you don't have an offer. I would suggest emailing the department, so emailing Bristol and saying that you would like to, be nominated for Commonwealth and you would like to have an offer letter if they would be willing to give it to you, or at least in writing. No, they won't do that. Damini, Samir, any ideas?
No, I don't have any.
Yeah.
I would go on to the next bit.
Sorry. Please reach out to us. Maybe in like 24 hours, we might be able to come up with a better suggestion to solve your issue. But right now, I think that's the advice I would give. Write to Bristol and ask if they'd be willing to give you a deferred offer. But you would need an offer. So if that doesn't work, then yeah, you have to apply fresh again this year. And then I would suggest applying to one of those unis that give you a faster turnaround. Bristol also works. Again, you can reapply for Bristol again if you want. And the second question was the LORs, right? So sometimes it's actually a disguise, like a, what do you call it? A blessing in disguise. If you get the chance to draft the LORs, I don't look at it as a negative thing, I would say, because usually you want the professor to highlight certain things about your application, right? That kind of corroborates what you're writing in your application, and you want that to be highlighted in the LOR. Make sure you support or you provide the professor with bullet points of those, and you can go in as in-depth as you want so that the professor can easily like edit it and create it into a paragraph format. That way, in fact, it's a benefit that you get to kind of influence the way you think your professor should speak on certain kind of experiences that you think that professor is seeing on.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, we have come to the end of the session, but there are still questions that need to be answered. Could I request all our mentees to reserve their questions for tomorrow? As you know, there is a mentee-only session on Commonwealth Master's Scholarship, so you can ask your questions tomorrow. And if we could give this opportunity to non-mentees to ask their questions at this point, that would be great. With that, I'm not going to ask Hussain, Afreen, Ayman, Anna, and others to ask their questions because they're mentees they can ask tomorrow. So I'll turn to Prasad. Prasad.
Okay, actually, this is the concern in my mind. I completed my graduation and master's as an external student. So I have two questions about eligibility and LOR. As I'm eligible for Commonwealth, that complete my master and graduation as an external student.
Hi, I don't even hear you well, Prasad. If you would prefer, you could write your message and then we can answer them there. Samir, maybe we can move on. I think Prasad decided to write this message.
Okay, perfect. Sabir, Muhammad Sabir.
Hi, am I audible, Samit?
Yes, you are.
I have two questions. Actually, this year I had applied for this current year. I have an offer letter from Imperial College London. So since I couldn't get a scholarship this year, so I had asked them to defer it. So in their website, it is showing as a defer, but I don't see any this offer letter. I have the offer letter with the dated like for current year 2023 to 24. But in the website, there is no offer letter. Now it is just written as a defer. So what should I do for uploading my this offer?
Email the department, ask them if they would give you a PDF version. If they don't, just take a
Okay.
screenshot of that of the page,
Okay.
print screen, and then upload that.
Yeah, I have one more question. I just regarding this references. So I actually I'm a student. I'm an engineering student. So I can get letter from my this the technical professors. Otherwise, I have some professors like in humanities. I had a good relation with them. So should I take this since I am applying to a technical course? Should I take reference from technical professors or from humanities professors? But I think my humanities professor will be able to write up more about me because I had a good relation with them.
So
What
when
do
you
you
say
suggest?
relation, what do you mean? If it was a professional and or academic relation, and he is able to kind of shed light into your work so far, then yes, go ahead. If not, and they just know you on a personal basis, then I would recommend putting them on a personal referee, like the third referee, which is the personal referee, and use two technical supervisors as your L1.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
We'll have the last question by Anne.
Hi, Damini and Banashri. So, sorry for repeating the question. So, I actually saw that you've pasted about the eligibility criteria in the chat. Yeah, that actually says by September 2023, but then now that I've checked, I see that it's written by September 2024. Everything else is the exact same, but yeah,
I was actually wondering if it was a typo. So it could have been a typo. And in that case, maybe it is 24.
Sorry, Anne, do you mind clarifying where you saw that? Are you checking the same notice by the Indian MHRD?
Okay, so you're
there are two
okay, so
different
you're talking about the MHRD. Okay.
Exactly. So the official Commonwealth website says something else, and the MHRD one says something else.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So this seems to be an issue. What we will do is, at this point of time, the understanding is that you need to have at least an undergrad degree by September 2023 to be able to apply. If this changes based on, we'll go back and we'll look into this and see if there is more guidance we are able to offer. We will post that on our Instagram channel within the next 24 Instagram page within the next 24 hours. So it will be in the form of a story that we post. So do keep an eye on that regarding this question of eligibility. If anything changes, if anything doesn't, then we are not going to post anything, of course. With that, thank you so very much, everybody, for joining us today. We had more than 210 people who joined this workshop. And those of you who are staying back till the very end, thanks a lot. And thank you so much, Damini and Banashri, for, I don't know, I mean, this was like a rapid fire of questions, and for just taking all the questions so patiently and gracefully. Thank you so very much. I know we've missed some of the questions, but unfortunately, there's only so much that we can do at the moment. Our mentees at Project EduAccess, they know that they have a session, internal session tomorrow. So please come to the session and ask your questions there if you haven't been able to get your answers today. A recording of this session will be available on the YouTube channel within the next few hours. So you can come back to it and watch it. And for our mentees, those of you who had questions regarding the evening session that we organized earlier this morning, the recording will be shared with you via email. So don't worry about that as well. With that, I hope you have a wonderful weekend, everybody, and good night, good evening, based on wherever you are at the moment. And of course, for the mentees, the Zoom link for your mentee-only session on Commonwealth essays will be shared with you later tonight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye, guys. Bye,
Bye, everybody. Bye.